Hello, I'm Matt Marshall, founder and editor-in-chief of VentureBeat. We're here live from GTC 2024, talking with Aaron Arvizu, VP of Sales and Marketing at ZT Systems, and Raymond Miles, VP of Architecture at ZT Systems. Welcome, Aaron and Raymond.
Thanks for having us, Matt.
Thanks for having us.
What does ZT Systems do, and why are you here at GTC?
Well, ZT Systems, we build cloud and AI servers for the cloud service providers of the world, right? Some of the largest cloud service providers that provide all of the AI products that Jensen was talking about today, we build those and we ship them to the data centers around the world. So.
Great, so the big cloud providers, can you talk a little bit about any announcements you've made here? It seems like there's a ton of announcements. What has ZT Systems said today?
Sure, go ahead, Raymond.
Yeah, no, we've announced basically a partnership with NVIDIA around the Grace Blackwell platform that Jensen was discussing, and product announced around that, and we're super excited to be part of that ecosystem.
What was the announcement exactly? How do you key into that?
Well, if you look at the rack product that he announced, right, with all of those GB200 Blackwells in them, we're in the process of building that product out, and we'll be shipping that product to our customers later this year in those large volume clusters that he was announcing at the keynote, right? So, they'll be shipping, prototypes middle of the year and production later in the year. So,
how differentiated is ZT Systems when it's doing that? So maybe give the guests here a sense of how ZT Systems is differentiated from some of the other players in the market.
So we focus on ZT Systems on a smaller group of customers and a smaller group of products, right? So we have not only AI products, which is our largest product portfolio, we also have storage and compute products, but a smaller subset to a smaller set of very large customers. So we like to focus and give very special attention to those customers that are very large and very specific to their needs. And we meet those needs because they're very, very difficult to meet. So when you're talking about the massive cloud service providers of the world.
Aaron, you said you woke up at 3 a.m. this morning from Houston to fly in for this event. Yeah. There's a lot of people here. What has been the highlight so far? If you've been able to have some coffee and keep going.
Definitely had some coffee, but had a brief instance to walk the show floor. But so far it's been the keynote, right? And it's just you watch that keynote, you watch the products that are announced, and then you really think about all of the things that NVIDIA is doing to all the businesses they touch, all the segments they touch. They talked about healthcare, they talked about, robotics, self-driving. It's amazing that a company like NVIDIA is able to touch so many segments, impact so many segments, and we're actually really happy to be working with them and one of their partners in developing that product that he announced, which is, just really changing the world. So.
Yeah,
Raymond,
and if I would add to that, I think the thing that was so powerful about how Jensen he basically said the GPU he showed what the GPU is now, so that was all those racks, right?
Yeah.
And that is such a change, right? It's no longer just a single chip on a board. He talked about the evolution from that to having 8 GPUs on a board to now those racks clustered together with the NVLink switch, with the spine in the back, with liquid cooling. And that is super complicated to put together. But the power of the processing that's there is incredible, right? And so we feel so excited to be part of that ecosystem, building that first generation product.
Yeah, so one of the big themes around this event was the AI, generative AI revolution specifically. Can you talk a little bit about how that's impacting your business?
Well, I think for us, we provide infrastructure and hardware, and so I think the demand is coming to our customers, and we get a lot of orders. So the business is great right now with these NVIDIA GPU products, and and I'd say that's where we see it.
Yeah. And supporting the supply and demand of these customers, as Raymond mentioned, the complexity of that product that Jensen announced, being able to manufacture that in high volume with high quality, right, takes a unique skill set that ZT Systems kind of brings to our customers in our market, because to do something that complex and that high volume takes a very specialized workforce that we have.
Yeah, one of the things that he mentioned as well was the reason why they went for this audacious project was the huge demand for these solutions he wants to supply. There's been a dynamic of significant over-demand to the supply, driving prices up, a lot of dependency on NVIDIA. You're in the middle of this, right, in terms of supplying the big cloud companies, Amazon, Google. I don't think you mentioned these publicly, but you supply these cloud companies, Microsoft. Can you tell us a little bit about how you see that dynamic unfolding in terms of the pricing, supply, demand? Is that easing up a little bit this year?
We still see demand very strong this year. We work. One of the reasons we have a very small group of customers. One, they're very large, and we work very closely with them on their supply demand. Right, we create supply programs that are specific to those customers' needs, right, that are fulfilling their demand. And again, at least through the rest of this calendar year, we see the demand very strong. We work closely with NVIDIA on supply and demand. We actually have found that we work really well not only with our customers, but with NVIDIA on meeting the needs of the customers. ZT's been around for almost 30 years now. There's highs and lows of supply and demand. You just work through that. That's just part of business.
What's next for ZT Systems?
I would say liquid cooling. Yeah. That's one of the things that Jensen mentioned today, and that is a huge focus for us because that's if you think about the data center industry for the last 30 plus years, the fluid of cooling data centers has been air. And now we're going to just change that like on a dime. Yeah. So much has to change, right? Leak detection and the plumbing and the cooling systems, and I mean it's super complicated. So that's one of the areas where ZT is super focused with NVIDIA is solving those problems and building factories, right, to build and manufacture liquid cool racks. This is a huge change for the industry, and nothing like a good challenge.
Yeah. Jensen mentioned 2 liters of water per second or something.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of water.
It's a lot of water. And in IT equipment, folks usually aren't thinking about pumps and
right.
liquid, right? So it's all new.
It's the first time I'm talking with an architect who's thinking about water in tech and digital.
And not electricity. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for
You're welcome.
joining us.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guests, and be sure to explore more sessions in GTC catalog.
Hi, my name is Michael Nuñez. I'm the editorial director of VentureBeat. We're here live from GTC 2024, talking with Dan Spellman, Global AI Cloud Director of Healthcare at Oracle, Ashwin Rakra, Area Vice President of North America of AI and ML at Oracle, and Danae Solis, Director of North American Cloud Sales at Oracle. Welcome. Dan, I'd love to ask, just to kick this off, what is Oracle doing at GTC? Can you tell us a little bit about what brought you and your team out to the conference today?
Absolutely. Extremely excited to be here. Oracle is a key partner of NVIDIA. AI is at the center of so much of what we're doing in the healthcare ecosystem and beyond. We have a booth in the healthcare pavilion. We also have a booth on the regular floor. And we have a lot of great conversations going today, including a little bit of a conversation later today in the theater pavilion.
And Ashwin, I'd love to build on that. So, can you tell us a little bit about your experience, maybe yesterday, today? Tell people what it's like to be at this conference and sort of what you've been getting out of it over the first couple days.
Sure. No, GTC is just it's a really powerful conference, and Jensen said this yesterday. I mean, anyone has any relevance in AI is here and is thinking about it, and across industries, verticals, we're seeing people coming here to learn, to understand, and gauge as to how to apply AI, and that's what we are here for as well. We want to work with enterprises across verticals to see how we can enable that journey for them.
And Danae, I'd love to, if you can add to that. So, what makes NVIDIA GTC so unique compared to some of the other conferences that maybe you've attended or some of the other meetings you've had over the last year?
Yeah, so the difference with NVIDIA GTC is 99% of the AI workloads run on NVIDIA's platform. And what Jensen said yesterday was really powerful, that he's not just building GPUs. NVIDIA's not just building GPUs, they're building a platform to actually deploy AI and bring AI to everyday people's lives and bring AI to the enterprise. So that was really exciting to see, and that's what GTC is all about.
It's such a great point. I'd love to follow up on that. So yesterday, Jensen did say, generative AI is essentially a platform that developers and companies can build upon, and it is, many have referred to it as sort of the next technological revolution, I guess, in Silicon Valley. How does that impact? How does generative AI specifically impact Oracle? Can you tell us about some of the projects or some of the initiatives at Oracle that you're working on?
Yeah, so we're really excited at Oracle because we have so many different pillars and acquisitions we've made. So, we acquired Cerner, and we also have a full app stack that everybody uses for their back office applications. We have CX applications, and we're bringing the AI assistant. So basically, it's a generative AI assistant that as users are doing their day-to-day activities, there will be actually like an AI assistant that will help them do their jobs more effectively. So we're really excited about that, and we're really excited about what we're doing in Oracle Health. Dan, can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, Dan, I was going to ask, I'd love if you can elaborate. So, tell us about, again, the initiatives, or really how Oracle is leveraging generative AI today.
Sure. I think Oracle is one of the best kept secrets in tech. What we're doing across the board is extremely innovative. And of course, part of that is what NVIDIA is doing above the hardware layer, which is what Danae touched on. So NVIDIA has the Clara platform. We have that on Oracle Cloud. Clara platform includes BioNeMo for drug discovery, Monai for medical imaging, Parabricks for genomic analysis. And these are tools that we're using to help break records for genomic analysis. We're doing a lot to bring this whole ecosystem, bring best of class solutions to our customers, but also, to Danae's point, to our own business. We have the world's largest EHR, and these are all tools which our whole ecosystem, including customers and partners, can use. So it's really about accelerating innovation, and yeah.
And what's the key to finding a really good partner in this space? So Oracle obviously has a dedicated customer base, that existed long before generative AI was in the picture. How do you make sure that people are getting sort of what they need out of generative AI without some of the risks that might be introduced?
Well, it's an interesting point of view, and I think for organizations, they want to look at who's bringing the right set of skills to them. For customers, there's three things they have to think about when they start that AI journey is, do I have access to the right data? Do I have access to the right set of skills? And then do I have access to the right tools, technologies, and infrastructure, et cetera? So the data is the customer's data, obviously, but when you're trying to find the right partner, you want to think about who's a good enterprise partner. And Oracle has enterprise in their DNA, and we always have. And the collaboration and partnership we have with NVIDIA was really bringing together their market and thought leadership with our market and thought leadership. Theirs around AI, ours around how to cater to the enterprise at scale. So that's one of the key things that we bring to customers when we talk about their AI journeys, is think about these elements and see who can provide the right platform for you and be the right partner, bring the right ecosystem.
Ashwin, I'd love to follow up on that, and this will be a question for each of you, but starting with Ashwin, about some of the exciting use cases. You mentioned enterprise AI. Clearly this is a technology that every company maybe in the world, or definitely in tech, sort of wants to embrace. What are some of the interesting use cases that you've seen or that you're really excited about that maybe you can tease or allude to today, for the people that weren't able to make it to GTC?
Sure. Well, I think we see it across verticals. If you think, outside of healthcare, if you look at some of the other verticals, you'll see, from retail to the customer experience, from customer care and billing, which goes across verticals as well. In manufacturing, it's vision inspection and predictive maintenance. So in automotive, it's different. So we'll start to see some of these use cases will be more customer-centric as far as experience is concerned, and then some of these are going to be more operational efficiency specific, more back office, right? So depending on what the enterprise is looking to accomplish, that's really where we can help them, and those kind of use cases what we really focus on with customers.
And Danae, I'd love to ask you kind of a similar question. Are there any specific use cases or examples that you've seen over the past year, maybe here on the showroom floor that you can mention for those that weren't able to make it to GTC today?
Yeah, and we're really excited to partner with NVIDIA with some of the things that Jensen talked about yesterday. So we're partnering on the GB200. So sort of what he was elaborating on is now you'll be able to train in the trillion parameter space, which means that, so for the layman, what ChatGPT-4 is, basically all of that text that it was being trained on, you'll be able to do it with multimodal. So bringing in video, audio, pictures, and start training on that, and you're getting closer and closer to basically an artificial intelligence, like real life human, which is insane. Also, we're partnering with NVIDIA and Omniverse. So bringing, Omniverse. So basically the digital twin experience. So being able to bring your AI into a digital twin environment, a simulated environment, and being able to simulate it before you build it in real life. So that's really exciting. Yeah.
Dan, I'd love to give you an opportunity to answer that as well. Interesting use cases, either from the last year, or maybe something that you saw at the conference here that we can call out for the people watching that weren't able to make it to GTC today.
Yeah, so one of the items that we're featuring in the healthcare pavilion is large language models for clinical trials. How can we accelerate that process? How can we drive down costs? In addition, we've really turned a lot of heads when they're seeing other work that we're doing in the healthcare space. With John Snow Labs, we've launched, helped them launch their AI medical chatbot, which has its answers cited, so you actually see where the answers came from. You don't have the same concern that you do with some other models. We also have a partnership with Avashore, which is really remote patient monitoring or virtual nursing, virtual sitting. So there's a tremendous number, and yeah, just excited to be here.
I'd love to close out on just an opportunity to talk about highlights from GTC. So, we've talked about a lot of different industries that are being impacted by this technology, of course, enabled by the partnership between NVIDIA and Oracle. What's been the highlight of GTC so far? Can you maybe name a couple or anything that stands out?
I think the Grace Blackwell one is extremely exciting, what we'll be able to do there. I think some of what Kimberly Powell, the VP of Healthcare, shared in the session this morning, which is NIMS, so the ability to basically in a box deliver BioNeMo for drug discovery, or in a box to deliver many of NVIDIA's other solutions, and we could deploy them anywhere. Oracle today has over 60 regions around the world, over 40 public cloud regions. The ability to take these state-of-the-art NVIDIA services and bring them to audiences worldwide is extremely exciting.
Ashwin, I'd love to ask you the same question. There's a lot going on at the conference, a lot of different industries represented. What's been the highlight from GTC thus far for you?
Yeah, so far, for us, it's really being able to continue to connect with so many customers. Like our schedules have been packed, which is wonderful to see. And it's really customers looking to engage and have the conversation of how do we get started, how do we get going. And what Oracle's doing partnered with NVIDIA is meeting them wherever they are in their journey, so that we can help them understand, is this, to use a Gartner term, are you looking to do everyday AI or game-changing AI, right? Is this more operational efficiencies or creating differentiators? And those are the conversations we're having. So the highlight for the conference is being able to bring that to enterprise customers at scale.
Danae, same question to you. The world is sort of, all eyes are on NVIDIA today and yesterday. What's been the highlight so far for you?
Yeah, so attending the user groups and the user forums has been really exciting, and hearing how customers are actually planning on using AI and what their projects are. So that's been really exciting.
Awesome. Well, I think that brings us to time. Thank you, Danae, Dan, and Ashwin. Thanks for watching, and be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
Hi there, I'm Sharon Goldman, senior writer at VentureBeat, and we are here live from GTC 2024 talking with Brian Venturo, CTO and co-founder of CoreWeave. Brian, great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Well, CoreWeave certainly made headlines last year with its GPU cloud. Everyone was talking about CoreWeave. Can you talk a little bit about what it's been like for the company over the past year?
Sure, it's been a pretty crazy ride. We expected that AI was going to change the way that infrastructure was delivered in the cloud. I don't think we ever imagined it was going to be to this magnitude, but it has been a crazy episode of scaling, and we've been having a great time.
Well, Jensen talked so much about scale at his keynote yesterday and the importance of infrastructure for generative AI. So how do you characterize that continuing importance for infrastructure and how CoreWeave and NVIDIA are such a big part of that right now?
Yeah, so it's kind of an existential threat to companies if they don't have access to the infrastructure they need to serve their products or to build their products. And where CoreWeave is coming in and working specifically with NVIDIA in such a tight partnership is around making sure that scale infrastructure is available to these companies that are pushing the edge on bleeding edge AI, right? And it's not just that they need 1,000 GPUs or 5,000 GPUs, it's they need tens of thousands of GPUs to be able to build these applications to serve these use cases.
And we know that ChatGPT was built on at least 10,000 GPUs, so it's probably going to get even bigger than that for sure, right?
It seems to step up an order of magnitude like every 6 months.
Right. Well, also in his keynote, Jensen talked a lot about this new era in AI, the new industrial revolution, and that requires the evolution of the new data center. Can you explain what that is and talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So historically, data centers were built to serve, let's call it 1,000 applications. And if one of those applications broke, you still had 999 others that were working and running and still serving requests. And in the new data center, specifically around AI, you're building this infrastructure to serve one use case and one application. And if a single component in that data center breaks, they're very fragile. And it's critically important to make sure you're building and designing these things so they work in concert to serve those single use cases, right? So the entire design of the data center has changed and continues to change as the power required goes up, as the criticality of the applications increases, and as customers get more demanding both on timelines as well as reliability.
So from your point of view, what do companies need to be doing now to succeed in generative AI as they scale, as they build new applications and put out new products? What do companies really need to be thinking about right now?
Yeah, so on the infrastructure side, it has to change from being tactical to very strategic, in that they have to stop thinking about, okay, I've identified a problem, I have to go solve it for the next 6 weeks, which is shifting to, okay, how do I serve my growing customer base over the next 3 to 5 years? And they have to start planning for these things much more like a mature enterprise would in other businesses.
Last question, what is the most common question that you are getting or you think you're going to be getting here at NVIDIA GTC?
Can I have more GPUs?
And your answer?
Maybe.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. Thanks for watching, everyone, and be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
CoreWeave is a specialized cloud provider that's focused on GPU-accelerated workloads for AI, ML, and VFX. I believe that the AI and VFX markets are changing the way that clouds have to think about building and delivering their infrastructure. We're almost 2 years ahead of where other cloud providers are on how they think about providing this type of compute and how they deliver it to their clients. What this means is that CoreWeave will continue to be able to outcompete both from a time to market as well as a quality of infrastructure perspective over the coming years.
I'm Sharon Goldman, senior writer from VentureBeat, and we are here live from GTC 2024, talking with Nidhi Chappell, General Manager of Azure Generative AI and HPC platform at Microsoft. Great to see you, Nidhi. Thanks for chatting.
Good to see you too.
Well, tell me what it's like to be back here at GTC after 5 years since the last in-person show. Pretty great.
Well, I think it's safe to say we've all missed the energy, right? There's something to be said about having all these folks in the same room, like really feeding off of each other. And like for somebody like me who is a hardware geek, to hear AI and hardware and all these people talking about it and being excited, there's nothing that compares to it.
It's paradise,
It
the
is.
hardware geeks. Well, the past year has been an explosive one for generative AI, and for sure you were there at the very beginning, helping to develop infrastructure for OpenAI, and taking that into the generative AI boom that we see today. Can you talk a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So people talk about just the first year, right? For us, we've been on this journey for last 4 years, right?
Wow.
We
Yeah.
started our partnership with OpenAI back in 2019, and I had just joined, and that was my first assignment. Let's go make OpenAI successful. And we had a vision, we had foresight around it, but really, it's a little bit of like investing ahead of the market in some regards. So we developed many generations of supercomputers for OpenAI, and we still didn't know exactly where this was leading, right? So, I actually think I'm so thankful that Microsoft invested in the ways we did, because I can safely say we created this generative AI market. And now look at it, like, 1 year into it.
Who would have thought
Who
it?
would have thought? Exactly. And so I think, as I look back in those years, our investment in AI, our investment in like working with OpenAI very closely has allowed us to actually bring this new market. And now I feel like every industry is benefiting from that. So.
And that's really what Jensen was talking about at yesterday's keynote, how every industry is benefiting from generative AI. The infrastructure is so important as the foundation for generative AI. So can you talk a little bit about the Microsoft Azure and NVIDIA partnership, that tight integration that is helping to make generative AI enterprise ready? Every company is interested in this, every board is talking about it, so companies can build and deploy and manage their AI applications in the cloud.
Yeah, partnership is really the center of everything we do, right? If you look at, what got us to here, it's a very deep partnership with OpenAI, from them bringing all the algorithms and intelligence on that, and with deep partnership with NVIDIA. When you are training a large foundational model, you want to actually have infrastructure at large scale that can run for a long period of time.
Right.
That means you have to have a deep investment in infrastructure, in reliability, in performance, and at a scale that has never been done before, right? Really you are at the forefront of it all. So this is where our partnership with NVIDIA, both on the GPU side and on InfiniBand side, has really helped us make sure we can manage this infrastructure on which GPT-4 is trained, GPT 3.5, 4, and like many next generations will be trained. And that's just the training side of things.
Right.
Once we brought this generative AI out there, now as we deploy these worldwide so that customers can take benefit from this, we are thinking about how we can take inference infrastructure and make it available globally, right? Azure really wants to make sure that customers can deploy AI at any scale, and deploy it anywhere, whether it is our own models, whether it's OpenAI models, or any of the partner models that we make available. We want to make sure that our customers, enterprise customers, can safely deploy those, and they can deploy it at large scale. So this has been where we have invested a lot of time and effort with NVIDIA to make sure we can deliver performance, we can do it reliably, and then we can do it globally across the world.
Right.
And we package it through our Azure OpenAI service so that customers, enterprise customers, can then seamlessly integrate that in their existing flows, or they can start their new work on it too.
So once that foundation is in place for enterprises and they're ready to go, how do you see that expectation shifting or rising about what, as C-suite executives and developers get more experience with Gen AI, how do you see that mindset changing about what the possibilities are?
The way I answer that is I'm often asked where is this market headed? And I go back and say, we are creating Lego blocks. We are creating building blocks for our customers to innovate on top of that. And to me, every time I'm in a customer meeting, I am just so impressed by how far they have taken their innovation based on these building blocks. They are using language models to decide what car parts to build. They are taking it to improve efficiency of their employees. They are using these to improve chatbot interactions. The domains in which this has been applied is just phenomenal. So for us, the way I look at it is we are in service of our customers, innovating on top of it. We are providing them these building blocks so then they can unleash all of these investments, all of these innovations across all industries. And
they can really experiment and see what's possible.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, Nidhi, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure chatting with you, and thanks so much for watching. Be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
Azure AI unlocks the potential of generative AI, giving you building blocks to bring intelligent apps to market quickly. With pressure-tested services, customize experiences with leading information retrieval. Build safely on one platform with the latest models. Manage the complete model lifecycle and scale AI responsibly. And tap into the most powerful supercomputer in the cloud, Azure AI, where innovators are creating.
Hi, my name is Michael Nuñez. I'm the editorial director of VentureBeat. We're here live at GTC 2024 talking with Varun Chabra, Senior Vice President of Product Marketing at Dell Technologies. Varun, tell me a little bit about how Dell is helping customers get their data and infrastructure AI ready.
Yeah, nice to be here, Michael. Thanks for having me. What we're hearing from enterprises is that they need an easy button for AI. There's so many different solutions, different parts of the infrastructure, software stacks, professional services, all of this stuff has to be stitched together. And what we've been doing and what we announced with NVIDIA this week was the Dell AI Factory with NVIDIA. And the goal really is to simplify AI adoption and really help accelerate AI adoption within enterprises. So what we do is, starting with the infrastructure layer, whether it's servers, compute, storage for data, networking, even supporting customers who want to run AI models on laptops at the edge, as well as getting all of that together in an easy to use, easy to consume way. We work very closely with NVIDIA to integrate their NVIDIA software into our infrastructure, and then we pair that with professional services from that really help customers wherever they are with their AI journey. So if they're just getting started, we can help them with consultations as well as getting their AI strategy ready. If they want to implement things, we can help them with that as well. And then if they're already in production, they want to tune their AI performance or figure out new use cases. Whatever their use cases, wherever they are in the journey, we want to help them with that.
Well, I love that because it touches on something that Jensen mentioned yesterday during the keynote, which is that generative AI is this foundational layer upon which a lot of software and hardware will be built, and he really described it as sort of this moment of technological change, across all businesses. So, can you tell me a bit about Dell's AI strategy and the enablement piece? So you touched on it just a second ago, but how is Dell helping all enterprises, big and small, make sense of this quickly moving, rapidly evolving space?
Yeah, Michael, I think the important thing that we find when we talk to enterprises is there's no one-size-fits-all solution, in the sense that everybody's in a different place, right? And everybody has different factors that they're considering. There may be data privacy regulations in certain industries like healthcare, financial services. In certain industries like the legal space, there's a lot of industry-specific terminology that may be off-the-shelf, like Gen AI models may not be aware of. So what our strategy is to really meet enterprises where they are in their journey, right? If they're looking for servers with GPUs on them, we can help them with that. If they need help with the end-to-end strategy, figuring out where they're going, maybe they need help with storage, we've got storage for AI, or they need pre-validated solutions. Like they want the peace of mind to know that we have partnered with NVIDIA to validate it for specific use cases for their industry. We work with NVIDIA to integrate their parts, including their software, into kind of one cohesive package. That's really our goal as we're talking to customers about AI and what we offer for their AI journey.
I'd love to touch a little bit on sort of the C-suite and what executives are talking about as they're kind of weighing these decisions and how to approach it. So what are you hearing among members of the C-suite that are approaching generative AI? What questions are they asking? What questions should they be asking?
The most common questions we get when we talk to senior executives in companies, everybody already understands the AI, what the transformative power of AI is going to be. Usually we get some question of like, where do I get started? Usually companies have an idea of like, there could be 500 places where they could go with Gen AI, right? It could be something to help with supply chain. It could be something to help with their marketing operations, with direct customer operations as well. What we usually get asked is like, where do I get started in a way that I can get to market early, right? And try something out. That's one question we get a lot. The second question we get a lot is, what have we done within the company, within Dell, to kind of improve our employee experience as well as the customer experience with this? Because right now, there's so many possibilities. What people are looking for is an assurance that, hey, this use case really hunts, it's been tried before, this is the value it delivers, here's the ROI you can expect. So that experience, I think, really helps as you go talk to customers.
Well, and I think you nailed it on the head when you said, people are looking for assurances. I feel like I've heard that over the past 2 days quite a lot. So, tell me a little bit more about how Dell and NVIDIA, the partnership there, is helping unlock generative AI solutions for organizations in the future. How do you bring them that assurance? What does that look like?
And it really starts with a really strong partnership with NVIDIA. We do a lot of testing and validation in labs together. Our engineering teams work really closely together. And the reason why we do that, Michael, is to help reduce the friction for our customers, right? We don't want our customers, our joint customers, to have to figure out how to have different piece parts work together, how to deploy software, how to, what settings to set up when they're configuring their data centers for AI. And the joint partnership really pre-validates different, we'll just call it t-shirt sizes of solutions, right? If you're looking to do X, well, here's a server for you that's tightly coupled with storage, with networking recommendations on what kind of networking you're going to need. Jensen talked about the importance of networking, for example, yesterday at how that plays a hidden role in making AI be more efficient. How, having tested all of these things before in the labs, how NVIDIA's inferencing microservices, or NIMs as Jensen was talking about yesterday, we make sure that if a customer is looking to create their own model, that we've done all the testing and validation before, and we can go in with a prescriptive t-shirt size for them. If they are just doing inferencing, or they want to do something like retrieval augmented generation or RAG, which is seeing a lot of pickup in enterprises today, we've got t-shirt sizes for those as well. And then, like I was saying before, with professional services, I think plays a really, really important role here to be a consultative, a partner for our customers as they go on this journey.
I'd love to dive a little bit more into this, into the data infrastructure piece of this. So, Dell's data lakehouse. How is that specifically helping companies power their AI workflows? Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and why companies might want to learn a little more about it?
Absolutely. What we're seeing now over the last few years, it's a multi-cloud world, right? There's companies that are working with multiple cloud providers. They have multiple data centers in many cases. And now over the last few years, with the advent of in 4G, 5G, there's a lot more edge deployments as well. So what that means is data's everywhere, right? And because data's everywhere, it's very hard to figure out how to get an end-to-end view of all your data as an enterprise. And as Jensen has been saying for a long time, data is what really, your proprietary data is what makes Gen AI, as an enterprise, what makes Gen AI really powerful and applicable to your stakeholders. So what the data lakehouse does actually is helps organizations get an end-to-end view of all their data, no matter where it's located, and allows their developers, so if you're building a Gen AI application, it allows your developers easy access to your data no matter where it's located, and it kind of virtualizes access to that, and we think that's going to be very, very important for customers as they make their AI results more relevant and applicable to their stakeholders.
Another product that I'd love to talk a little bit more about is a world's first, which is exciting. So Dell PowerScale. My understanding is this is the world's first Ethernet storage solution, validated by NVIDIA
DGX. That's right. There's a lot of acronyms. Yeah.
There is, yeah. So can you help us make sense of that? Why is that such a big deal? Why should the audience pay attention to that?
Absolutely. I think first of all, PowerScale is what we call our AI-ready data platform, right? You need a lot, as I was saying, you need a lot of data for AI. And if you want your GPUs to be working very efficiently, you need the GPUs to be able to get access to data as fast as they can. They're very data hungry. They need access to data as quickly as possible. And there's two aspects to that. One is how strong or how powerful or performant the actual storage platform is. So we have that, that's what PowerScale does. But networking, as I was saying before, plays a really important role because that's the pipes on which the data is fed to the GPUs. We partner with NVIDIA to provide a lot of networking flexibility. So InfiniBand, which a lot of NVIDIA solutions use, we partner with them on that. But we also believe that Ethernet is a much more open networking standard, and one that will ultimately, as these AI systems get bigger and bigger, we believe as Dell that Ethernet's going to play a really, really important role in providing high performance networking. So it was important to us as we work with our customers to provide an Ethernet-based storage solution for customers that are looking to standardize on Ethernet. We of course support whatever choice customers want. So if customers want InfiniBand, we help them with that too. But Ethernet, we believe, is going to be a really, really big difference maker for us. So that's why we're really proud to partner with NVIDIA to be the first Ethernet certified storage for their DGX SuperPods.
Yes, super exciting stuff. I'm excited where all of this is going. It's kind of wild to think about all that's happened in the last year. Yeah. Generative AI adoption has been explosive, I think it's safe to say, and at least the demand for it is very high. What have you seen change, I guess, within the past year when you think back to where we were, at the same time, yeah. And then also, looking forward, I guess, what are you most excited about in terms of what's coming down the pike?
It's hard to believe it's only been a year or just about a year. Look, I think if you look back at our event last year, which was May at Dell Tech World, NVIDIA and Dell made a joint announcement around this thing called Project Helix, where we said we're going to help customers with whatever solutions they want for generative AI. And a lot of the announcements we made this week, Michael, are really rounding off what we had announced last year and fulfilling that promise we had made. And the excitement, continues to be off the charts. I think this year is the year of enterprise AI adoption. We've seen a lot of adoption from CSPs, cloud providers, GPU as a service providers. But where we think this is going this year is going to be really enterprise adoption. There's a lot of POCs that have been happening within enterprises, and we think this is the year where those POCs move into production. There are so many possibilities and so many things to be excited about. But I think the thing that I'm most excited about is just a better experience for end customers. We're all end customers of some company or the other. The support experience, when you have to call somebody or when you have to chat on the internet, oftentimes that can be a huge difference maker between loyalty for the end customers. That's one place, just a small example of where I think generative AI is going to make a huge difference in having more satisfied customers for all of our enterprises.
Speaking of satisfied customers, I'd love to learn a little bit more about sort of your approach to helping these customers. We've talked a lot about some of the difficulties and the tough questions that a lot of these businesses have to ask themselves. Yeah. What is Dell Services doing? Tell us a little bit about Dell Services and what they're doing to help people interact with, engage with, leverage this technology in their own business.
Absolutely, Michael. The professional services, I think, plays a really, really important role given where Gen AI and AI are for our customers, right? And as I was saying at the start, you could be in different parts. It's a big journey, it's a big continuum, and every customer is at a different spot. As I was saying before, one place where customers could find themselves early on is like, I don't know where to start. There are so many different possibilities. So actually we have, for example, we have consultative engagements, we have consulting workshops, strategy workshops that we can do with customers to help them narrow down use cases and say, well, this is probably your biggest bang for the buck to start out with. And then also help actually orient and align internal stakeholders, which is when you have such large transformative efforts, oftentimes there's different agendas, different people are speaking past each other in large organizations, as we're aware. So that can be an area where professional services help. Then you move down the adoption path. Well, okay, I've got some use cases figured out. What do I do with, what data should I use? I've got data here, I've got data here, there's all kinds of data. We actually have data preparation workshops, helping customers figure out which data to use for AI, which data to maybe not use right now, et cetera, et cetera. And then you move forward, you're going into pilots, you want to have people set up and do things. And then you're moving from a pilot stage to production. All of these places, we've got specific offerings for customers based on, Gen AI is somewhat new, but we've done like AI engagements with customers for many, many years. So we've taken those learnings and built a lot of IP within professional services to help customers on all of the parts of this journey.
Varun, I'd love to give you an opportunity to just share some final thoughts with our audience before we end this interview. What have you been excited about that you've seen on the showroom floor? What's really stuck with you?
Yeah.
What are you going to be thinking about in the next couple of days, I guess, after the event?
I think personally for me, I guess what I'll say is for enterprises, it's just mind-boggling how much innovation of pace there is, and how do you keep up with it, right? It's just not easy, right? Every day there's something new, there's a new tool that kind of was much better than the tool you were using yesterday or even thinking about using yesterday. So I think it's important to have a partner that is able to basically be step with you and give you that advice. Personally for me, what I'm also going to be very excited about is just the potential of robotics and AI coming together. There's so many, sometimes people tend to take a pessimistic view and they think about killer robots, but I actually am one who's very, very optimistic about this. And there's so many challenges where cost of human life is so important that it's difficult to do risk taking. Like you think about space exploration, mining for raw materials, etc. And the ability to have robotics, the intersection of robotics with AI, to be able to do some of these things for us and actually move humanity forward, whether it's here on Earth with medical advances or in the outer space. It's I think we're just on the precipice of that. It'll be amazing to see how that transpires.
Varun, thank you so much for the thoughtful answer and
thanks for having me.
For taking time to do this. And thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
Our technical challenges were around providing the sheer power needed to run AI. When one runs AI, there's a lot of compute involved there. So you need a partner that can help you harness the most out of the existing compute that you have. So bringing all of that together with the PowerEdge servers really worked well for Taboola.
Hi, my name is Michael Nuñez, the editorial director of VentureBeat. We're here live at GTC 2024, talking with Mike Yang, Senior Vice President of Quantum Computer and President of QCT, and Jack Luo, Platform and Solution Executive at QCT. Mike, can you tell us a little bit about your history with NVIDIA and what brings you to the conference today?
Sure. I think QCT has been partners with NVIDIA since DGX1. And since then, we have established a very good relationship with NVIDIA and have been launching every generation of NV product, okay? Pairing Quanta and also QCT's strong R&D capabilities, we have delivered a number of innovative AI system architectures to the industry for everything from training to inference.
And Jack, can you tell me about sort of what the most exciting thing your company and NVIDIA are working on right now?
Yeah, so absolutely from the past to now, we have been following every step that NVIDIA has launched their new products. This year, the most exciting part is MGX platform, which is the GB200s that Jensen announced yesterday. We have been working on MGX architecture since second half of 2022, and we were the first one to launch as a GTM partner for the GH200 products. Now we are working closely with NVIDIA on their latest GB200 products, and we are very excited to make it to the markets by the Q3 this year, and we believe that's going to change the world in terms of the performance per watts, efficiency, and also its computing power.
Mike, I'd love to sort of follow up on that, and if you could just elaborate a little bit more about QCT and its role in creating tailor-made products for enterprises or for companies.
Okay, together with NVIDIA, actually we have many kinds of customers. It ranges from the Tier 1 CSP, next wave CSP, telcos, and even enterprises. So how to cope with their requirement become very important. So speak the same language. So we accumulated in the past so many years of the hardware design, like server, storage, network switches, and the software related, like software infrastructure and workload optimization. So, based on this, when we talk to NVIDIA about defining a product, always we can contribute a lot to help us both together to get into each customer's demand.
You mentioned software infrastructure just a second ago. This is something that came up yesterday during Jensen's keynote speech. He mentioned that generative AI is this foundational technology that people will build upon, and we're kind of now at the software layer where people are finding new implementations of this groundbreaking technology. Can you tell us a little bit about how you help customers navigate some of the software structure? Basically the relationship between QCT and the customers and some of the capabilities that you help bring to them.
Talking about software infrastructure, basically, I think I have dedicated software team working on the CUDA, all kinds of AI-related tools that NVIDIA provided. So I think basically, customers have any questions, we can comply and help them to solve the issue. I don't know, Jack, maybe you have something to say?
Yeah, so QCT not only is a hardware company that's providing the hardware infrastructure for the CSP customers, for enterprise customers, but we are also the solution providers, including NVIDIA's AI tools, CUDA, all the platforms, as well as the third-party vendor solutions. So we kind of integrate them all together on top of our optimized hardware to provide a total solution for our end customers. And that's our goal, and that's how we can help our customers.
And Jack, again, calling back to yesterday's keynote, Jensen mentioned generative AI being this transformative technology that is sort of washing over all of these different industries, all of these different businesses. How has generative AI impacted your business specifically, and what are some of the things maybe you're most excited about that it's enabling or that it's changing?
Yeah, so definitely the generative AI opened up a lot of new markets for us. And the new technology actually is helping all the startups, all the new technology, all the new solutions that is out there in the markets, and be able to support all kinds of AI booming, generative AI kind of solutions. And again, as a solution provider, not only hardware, but also the solutions, we're happy to see that. We're happy to see the whole world going to these directions. And we're happy to see that, and we're being able to help to propel the industry and moving forward.
Yeah, I think there's one example that I think in the past so many years, people are talking about digital transformation in each verticals, But I think you will see that actually, it's actually not that fast. I think it's maybe because of all the features is powered by the CPU. But nowadays, especially after booming of the generative AI, so all the workloads or APIs embedded with AI features. So I think that will definitely accelerate the digital transformation in each verticals. So I think that is something we think there's a lot of opportunity, business opportunity there.
Bringing it back to GTC, and the business opportunity here today. Again, we have so many different industries, so many different companies here represented. What are some of the topics you'll be covering, or what are some of the areas you're exploring? I guess as you're out on the showroom floor, have you seen anything particularly exciting, or have any new ideas been introduced that we can mention for the people that weren't maybe able to make it to GTC today?
I think maybe I would like to highlight one thing. Jensen actually mentioned a little bit about liquid cooling, because of in the near future, the power consumption and the GPU is getting more powerful, so maybe needed the liquid cooling. So I think that's maybe one thing that the technology will come into that direction. So I think that's one of the key directions that we are focusing on. Second thing is the generative AI booming, we do believe, as I mentioned, that there will be more and more applications coming out to the market. So how we really, together with those, software partners, together to solve our customers, difficulties, pain points. That's maybe one thing. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah.
Jack, I'd love to ask you the same question. So for those that are at home watching, maybe weren't able to make it to the conference today, what are some of the exciting ideas or themes, or just give us a sense of what you're seeing out there and what you're thinking about?
Yeah. So I think one major thing I like to circle back is the MGX architecture. We believe that to be able to have the whole industry moving toward the same architecture that NVIDIA is proposing right now is really important for the whole industry to go forward together. And in the exhibition hall, there's I think it's 10 to 20 racks lining up there. We have 3 racks over there, and everybody is contributing to the same architecture, which is MGX architecture. And I believe this is very helpful and it's very powerful that we work together as an ecosystem with NVIDIA to move this generative AI, even faster than what we expected.
Yeah, I think MGX definitely is a wonderful concept.
Yes.
From the modular design point of view.
Yeah.
Mike, I'd love to follow up on that. As generative AI is booming, what role is QCT playing to help the customers sort of build some of these things with these new enabling technologies?
Okay, so I think QCT has been in the journey of the cloud, and we've been incubating so many experiences in server, storage, network switches, and as also I just mentioned about software infrastructure and workload optimization. So all these, actually, we can help into the different kind of customer base. For example, like the tier 1 CSPs, we customize for them, right, from the hardware point of view. But if you are talking about enterprise customers, basically, not only just the hardware product, we are going to help them, but also once they have the nice applications, they always try to find a nice product to land on, right? So that's something we can help them from the software infrastructure point of view, and also even workload optimization point of view. So it's highly dependent on different kind of customers, then we can always help them.
And Jack, maybe you can help add some color here. So we talked just a second ago about workload optimization. Which workloads or industries do you think would benefit most from the Grace Hopper superchip, or even Blackwell, I guess, was mentioned yesterday?
Yeah, so I think one of the major benefits of the Grace Hopper, or we say the superchip, whether it's Grace Hopper or Grace Blackwell, is the huge amount of capacity on the memory side, right? So in the past, per GPU has like 96 gigabytes of the memory. Now with the cache coherence between the superchip, the CPU, and the GPU, you easily get like 500 to 600 gigabytes. Now we have Blackwell that have 1 CPU to 2 GPU that even increase the size to even the bigger number. And furthermore, being able to have NVLink 72 connecting all 72 GPU together within one rack, that's an amazing number on the capacity that they can handle. With the large data sets that the industry is having today, and with the liquid thermal solutions that being able to support the best performance per watts, we believe that's the best solutions to tackle those big problems in the industry right now.
Mike, I'm going to go ahead and give you the last word. So,
sure.
What do you hope the audience takes away from our conversation today? What's something that you want them to, I guess, remember as they start exploring all of the announcements, the partnerships, the hardware? There's so much to parse. What's your message to the audience watching at home?
Okay, I think after you come to GTC and let's take a look at all the exhibition hall, you'll find out, especially after Jensen's speech, you'll know something that beginning of last year, the generative AI booming, and you also can see the progress of NVIDIA in terms of their new kind of technology, in terms of hardware, both, and also software. they're a wonderful match. And I do believe this is going to be a kind of strong power to accelerate the growth of their business.
Well, I think we can end it there. Thank you both so much for joining us today. Thanks everyone for watching, and be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
Over the years, QCT has pushed the boundaries of innovation, enabling multiple use cases such as automotive, healthcare, and manufacturing. Amongst the first to integrate the NVIDIA Grace Hopper Superchip and MGX architecture. QCT's MGX systems use a singular modular system architecture to build tailored solutions, accelerating time to market and enabling generative AI, HPC, and 5G discoveries faster. For more information, visit QCT at booth 716.
Hi, I'm Sharon Goldman, Senior Writer at VentureBeat, and we are here live from GTC 2024, talking with Evan Sparks, Chief Product Officer for Artificial Intelligence at HPE. Hi, Evan.
Hi, Sharon. Really nice to be here.
Well, the past year has just been explosive for generative AI, obviously, and I wonder how you would characterize HPE's role in driving customer efforts from structured and unstructured data through to the business outcomes that allow enterprises to take advantage of everything that generative AI has to offer right now. Everyone's looking to do that, obviously.
Yeah, it's been an explosive year of growth for everybody in this AI space, and we've been working really closely with our enterprise customers to start from the use cases and sort of jobs to be done perspective. What are they trying to accomplish? There's really two main ways that enterprises can get value out of AI. Of course, new use cases and applications that we couldn't do before, and of course there's also ways to drive efficiency into their existing business. And so we're exploring kind of both sides of that with our customers, and I'd say 2023 was really about the year of sort of the prototype and getting your first win as an enterprise. And now people are saying, okay, what are the use cases that are going to drive the most value for me, and what can I implement and get into production as we look into 2024 and beyond? And we're starting to see some patterns evolve there. I think, particularly around enterprise use of natural language processing technology and things like RAGs and other types of applications. That's really been the sweet spot, I think, where we've seen the most interest recently.
Do you think it's going to be really going from pilot stage to let's put the pedal to the metal now, or do you think it's still kind of like a slow roll, I guess you'd say?
If you look around the show floor, I think we're seeing a lot of infrastructure build happening right now, and people are, in a lot of ways, laying down the pavement and the foundation, building the highways that we're all going to be riding on in the coming years. So I think that infrastructure build is very much going full bore right now. The question is going to be, how fast do we fill up those highways? How do we help people get from point A to point B in this analogy and really make use of those applications? And I think that's going to be where we and others in the ecosystem are participating with customers to help them find what are the places that I can get the most value out of generative AI. I think we've talked to some customers. Yesterday I was talking to a really major retailer who made a deliberate choice to say, we want one generative AI experience that's very customer focused, one that's very employee and kind of staffer focused, and one that's very focused on internal processes that they can automate. And so it's sort of that, I think that sort of trifecta could be applied to many, many businesses. And I think we'll see companies try and get a win in each area, and then decide where to kind of pour the fuel on the fire, so to speak.
So turning to the news of the day, you teased some news about your partnership with NVIDIA. Here we are at GTC. Can you talk about HPE's partnership with NVIDIA when it comes to software and architectures?
Yeah, so on the architecture side, we've of course been a very deep partner with NVIDIA for decades at this point, and have been incorporating GPUs into server products for a very long time. I think we were the first high-density GPU server ever, maybe 15 years ago, I think my boss Neil McDonald was saying. What we're seeing on the software side is pretty new for both HPE and NVIDIA, I would say. NVIDIA, of course, has done a great job of building the ecosystem around CUDA and sort of the lower levels of the stack to make the GPU programmable. But what we're all trying to do is eliminate some of the work that's in that messy middle between the application and actually programming the accelerated computing. And so we've been working really closely with NVIDIA on their NIM microservices that Jensen was talking about yesterday. Today we announced a technology preview, a product that is going to enable our enterprise customers to run inference at scale, leveraging that accelerated technology from NVIDIA under the hood. And I think you're going to see a lot more software collaboration happening between the two companies, and you're going to see that throughout the industry. I think in a few years the show floor will be less infrastructure builders and a lot more application providers.
Jensen did say it's all about software as well.
We hope.
Well, I was wondering what it means to you to be back at GTC in person for the first time in 5 years. A lot has changed.
It's interesting, yeah. I think I was all set to speak in March of 2020 at the GTC that never quite happened. I think that was the year that famously Jensen pulled some GPUs out of his home oven in his home kitchen. But you know, the show has changed dramatically. I think when I first started coming, around a few years before that, but even as late as 2019, you would look at the floor and you had as many CAD companies, data visualization, and gaming companies represented. Now it's really people who are focused on the opportunity in AI in the enterprise, and I think that's exciting. It changes the dynamic a little bit. I long for the days where the conference was a little geekier, and it still has some of that flavor, but you know, you think about what the shift that's happened in the industry over that time period. It's like a 5 years where things were moving really fast, and so the show should look pretty different.
A little more rock and roll, maybe.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Well, Evan, thank you so much. Delightful to speak with you, and thanks for watching. And be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
Now that we're getting hybrid cloud right, do we know who's getting AI right?
Well, models and data keep growing.
No rain on the parade, huh, Nancy?
The models say sunshine, Gary.
You need massive compute power.
What happened here? AI.
One side is long and one side is short.
But with HPE GreenLake, we have access to supercomputing to power AI at scale.
Helping to give us better insights.
Helping leave our competition in the dust.
Hi, I'm Sharon Goldman, senior writer at VentureBeat, and we are here live from GTC 2024 talking to a great panel. We've got Rohit Tandon, General Manager of AI at Deloitte, Tim Rosenfield, CEO of Sustainable Metal Cloud, and Alvin DaCosta, VP of Global AI Consulting at NVIDIA. So I'm going to start with Rohit here. And we'll be talking amongst ourselves, but in his keynote yesterday, you might remember that NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang talked a lot about the future of the new AI factory that generates AI and generates revenue. So I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about that trend and how that applies to the next Gen AI frontier with GPU-based data centers.
Sure thing. So I'd like to break it up into 3 parts. The first is acceptability. Over the last year or thanks to Gen AI, now AI is no longer a hype, and thanks to the way Gen AI has progressed, Gen AI is no longer a hype either. So there's a lot of acceptability that's happened. But the ability to do what you need to with Gen AI comes only if you've got the right kind of GPU power. And GPU is exactly how Jensen described it. It's not that chip. It's that entire infrastructure. You know, he struggled a bit with analogies yesterday. I'm going to attempt one. It's like you've got the best engine, but you've got to build the car around it. And then you've got to put the driver in the driving seat, somebody who knows how to drive that car in the way it can be pushed. And that truly, if you add it together, is the vision of the Gen AI factory.
Right.
You've got the infrastructure pieces, you've got all the enablement, networking, software, optimization, and you've got the capability and skills to be able to drive that machine the way it's supposed to be done. That's where we're headed. And that's where we're headed together with the kind of GPUs that NVIDIA is building, right, and partnering with the SMCs of the world to take them to a much wider audience.
Right. Alvin, do you have anything on that?
Yeah, and exactly what Rohit said, to build upon that, what we've been working with a lot of software vendors, we work with a lot of CSPs, and they have a variety of software that's out there. And really, OpenAI was the one who really pushed the generative AI marketplace for us. And now you've seen Llama 2, Minstrel, and NVIDIA works across all of that. And to make it much easier too, Rohit, we've actually introduced the NeMo Inference Microservice, which is going to make it much easier to deploy large language models for ordinary customers. And this is something we've invested heavy engineering forces into our software stack. And it's something that's going to bring revenue easier for Deloitte and their customers much, for the future.
Yeah, super interesting. Alvin, I also wanted to ask you about how NVIDIA's technology is contributing to the success and growth of GPU-based data centers. Jensen was talking a lot about this, so maybe you can just give us a little bit more backstory on that.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with NVIDIA software, and if you notice Jensen's keynote, he talked predominantly around our software stack. He talked around Omniverse, and he talked about robotics. Those were the 3 different areas we're focused on. And specifically with our software stack, we have the ability leveraging our NVIDIA AI enterprise software, which is only $4,500 per GPU instance. It's actually a pretty good deal. You get full enterprise support.
It's a bargain.
Yeah, it's a great bargain. And you get full enterprise support. You have the ability to do large language models that we mentioned. And now you're going to start to see things like Mon AI, that's going to start to take off, right? The ability for multimodal AI. Multimodal AI now, you're going to be able to do text to image, text to video, text to picture, all these different things you're going to be able to do. And now that's going to take the next wave, probably moving in the next couple of years. And you're already starting to see that with some integration with like Adobe Firefly, Getty Images, where you could do things like that already. So we're already moving down the
3D
track.
coming down the pike.
That's
possibly,
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
All right, well, this question is for all 3 of you. Could you talk a little bit about the Deloitte partnership with NVIDIA and Sustainable Metal Cloud to advance in the Gen AI frontier? Rohit, maybe you could start us off there too.
So we've been partnering with NVIDIA for 3+ years. We've got joint offerings out there, Atlas AI, Compass AI, Cybersphere AI, which was announced today. And in taking all of those to market, there's 2 things that have happened. One, we have leveraged the power of the GPUs, but now there is more and more a conversation of, one, private LLMs. So we're having to work together and deploy that for our clients and train these engines on that. And the second, a lot of conversations moving from data gravity to data, suddenly the word's going.
It happens.
Just sovereignty of data sovereignty, which is where players like SMC are extremely crucial to us being successful across the globe together. Alvin, you want to?
Yeah, this whole idea of data sovereignty has really been taking off. Jensen had the opportunity to meet several prime ministers globally. And some of the concerns that prime ministers have is really around, data privacy, obviously, is being one, but even cultural effects of the country, culturally different localization for languages is another important thing that came up. And the third thing is really using localized data sets. And so NVIDIA now has been really investing into what we call the NVIDIA Cloud Partners. And with the NVIDIA Cloud Partners, it's a full stack hardware and software, including our networking capabilities. And it's going to give the local countries the ability to do local sovereign data centers within the country, basically. So it's a really good strategy that we have in place, and we're working very close with Deloitte on this strategy, and they're helping us build this out globally.
Any thoughts on that, Tim?
Yeah, look, I was just thinking about Rohit's comment earlier about building the engine, and that's a infrastructure challenge that is a significant one. I guess we have a big part to play in helping to scale the footprint of NVIDIA's cutting-edge GPUs and delivering them in a way that, as Alvin said, Jensen's looking to sovereign data gravity centric deployments. That's often not that easy, and it also coincides with a trend that we're seeing, which is a rising concern around ESG and sustainability of compute loads as data centers transform into AI factories. We're working with governments like we are in Singapore to make sure that we're delivering infrastructure as sustainably as possible so that firms like Deloitte and NVIDIA can democratize access to AI, the software layer on top, but with a fundamentally different perspective on sustainability, which is the basis of which we developed our cloud platform.
Taking that a step further, can you talk a little bit more about the sustainability angle there, as far as GPU-based data centers? I feel like that's very top of mind
it is
for people right now.
Absolutely. I mean, GPUs are incredibly efficient. They're a substantial speed up over CPUs. But I think as we've witnessed coming from initially the data center industry, the existing fleet of data centers just aren't really cut out to be AI factories. They're just not built that way. But it sparked a call for, and we've answered that call, a new type of DC where you can optimize the energy to flop calculation, and in doing so, cut the energy consumption. So we've developed a technology that lowers energy consumption by about half for HGX H100 workloads. And it means that even in regions where there isn't access to renewable energy, like a lot of Southeast Asia where we have a big presence, you can still do more with less and deliver AI from a sustainability point of view in the most responsible way.
Well, last question, how does it feel to be here at GTC for the first in-person conference in 5 years?
You want to go first on that?
Yeah, it's been, the good news is a lot of energy, lots of energy in the room. And I've been meeting with a lot of partners and customers, and the enthusiasm around the announcements has been at an all-time high. So, we look forward to partnering with companies like Deloitte and working with Tim at SMC for our NVIDIA Cloud. And I think it's going to be a great thing for us all.
It's absolutely amazing to see the number of people who come in here. The energy is absolutely unsurmountable. So everyone's feeling excited. I think we'll all go back highly energized to take forward what we built together.
I think so. Well, thank you so much, Tim, Alvin, Rohit. Thank you so much for joining us. It was delightful to speak with you. And thank you so much for watching. And be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
Innovation has always relied on inspiration. For a flash, or a spark, accident, falling produce. But who's got time to wait for inspiration? Introducing Accelerated AI from Deloitte, powered by NVIDIA. GPU accelerated artificial intelligence to find hidden patterns in your data, with the strategies and expertise to develop AI solutions at scale, so you can innovate now. Don't wait for inspiration, accelerate it. Accelerated AI from Deloitte, powered by NVIDIA.
Hi, my name is Michael Nuñez from VentureBeat. We're here live from GTC 2024 talking with Kirk Skaugen, Executive Vice President of Lenovo and President of ISG and the Office of the CEO. Kirk, can you give us some background on the Lenovo and NVIDIA partnership and sort of what brings you to the conference?
Yeah, well, Lenovo is one of those unique companies that truly participates from the pocket to the cloud. We're selling 4 to 5 devices a second across Motorola phones, being the world's largest PC company, and then all the way to the largest data centers in the world. So we truly have a multifaceted relationship with NVIDIA. Largest gaming PC company, workstations. We're powering now 1 of 3 of the world's top 500 supercomputers, including the most sustainable supercomputer on the Green 500 with them. So everything we're doing with NVIDIA is important here at GTC.
Wow, and that's a lot to cover, but I'd love to just touch on some of the highlights of the partnership. So what are you trying to accomplish together, and what can you tell us about sort of what's going on at GTC 2024?
Yeah, well, we have a common vision of AI for all, delivering AI from the pocket to the cloud. And this is an amazing conference because we're building on an investment portfolio we've made over many years. We're announcing a whole new set of workstations with new tools to help workstations and developers get into the market. We're announcing a set of autonomous driving solutions. We are launching a set of new services for AI to ensure that everyone can get access to both discovery, what's available, all the way through implementation and asset recovery. And then maybe most importantly, we've had 80 different AI solutions now as the third largest AI infrastructure company in the world. Today we're launching, or yesterday we were launching 9 new solutions across the entire NVIDIA portfolio, from water cooling with the Grace Blackwell, an enormous portfolio in the data center space.
Wow, so I'd love to dive a little bit more deeply into that. You shared that Lenovo and NVIDIA have a long-standing partnership. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you're announcing together here at GTC, and maybe a little more detail around some of the things you just mentioned?
Yeah, so if you look at the services that we've got, we're finding a lot of people are confused. There's 16,000 AI startups out there in the world. So Lenovo's gone and worked with NVIDIA through our AI Innovation Center to build 165 solutions that we can now take out through services, even delivering as a service to the marketplace. So we've delivered about 50 different ISVs optimized on top of NVIDIA solutions and then brought those to market. We're seeing an amazing generative AI build, obviously, that's the buzz around here, and a whole new portfolio that we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, so you just mentioned, I guess, the topic that everyone wants to talk about, generative AI. This was a big part of Jensen's keynote speech yesterday. He described it as sort of a foundational layer for a lot of software and infrastructure. Can you expound a little bit on how you think generative AI is going to impact enterprises, and what business leaders should be thinking about as they try to engage with this new technology?
Yeah, so look, we've had an amazing relationship with NVIDIA on supercomputing. We're the provider to OVX in the Microsoft Azure cloud on the Omniverse infrastructure, and now we're talking about generative AI. So what's exciting to me is that the amount of data in the world has doubled over the last 3 years. We're only computing about 2% of that data, and that's more than all the history of the world's data created up until now combined. So we're seeing an explosion now, and what can we do with that 98% of the data that we've been throwing away? So we're going to see for enterprises, some enterprises with racks maybe today of 2 to 4 kilowatt trying to deal with 100 to 120 kilowatt solutions in a rack. So we've announced some technologies that we've now had over 12 years of innovation on called Neptune, where we're using warm water in the data center to help cool these systems and actually get PUEs going from 1.5 to under 1.1 and getting an 80% reduction in data center power, working with some of the largest colos in the world to get this technology in so we can get access to that. And then all the way down to the edge. I think part of our vision we'll talk about is AI for all, but we really want to get AI to where the data is created with our edge server portfolio that we call Think Edge.
I'd love to click a little bit deeper into this AI for all idea. So Lenovo has talked quite often, you've mentioned it a couple times here, this vision for AI for all. Everyone's talking about AI in some capacity. What does AI for all mean, and how is Lenovo delivering on that vision? Tell us about the approach and what makes it unique.
Yeah, absolutely. So, AI for all means AI for all. We're one of those unique companies that's in 180 markets of the world, again, shipping 4 to 5 devices a second, from PCs and new AI PCs to tablets to phones with Motorola, and now under the server space. So we believe that these foundational models are going to be personal, private, and public. So personal are things that you might only want to have a model that is on your phone, your tablet, or your PC. You want it to be your personal twin, if you will, help you remember, help you to be more thoughtful. We obviously have private models where we want to keep enterprise data either for sovereignty or for privacy reasons in the enterprise, and then we want to get public models. And how do you combine all 3 of those to give the best result to a consumer? Then you got this question, as I was saying earlier, we've invested a significant amount in the AI Innovators program to give access to some of this technology. So there's a lot of startups up there that we've worked on that might have 25 people, 100 people, 125 people. They're working with a large retailer or something, but then the retailer says, great, I love your technology, I'm going from 20 stores, I want to go to 20,000 stores in 120 countries. That's where Lenovo can come in, both for financial backing, with certifications, with our global sales force, and with our channel first mentality, with our system integrator and value-added reseller partners, getting that technology spread to every corner of the earth.
I love the framework that you just described about the difference between private and public, and being able to tap into each of those. Reminds me a lot of the cloud. I'd also be curious about some of the investments that you've been making. So tell us a little bit about the kinds of investments that Lenovo's been making in AI, and what do you think the long-term impact of artificial intelligence will be across Lenovo's business?
Yeah, well, it's going to touch every corner of our business, including our factories. You know, we've run over 35 factories, 22 million square feet of facilities, and we're using it for visual inspection, for workplace safety, these kind of things. But we invested about $1.2 billion several years ago, so AI is not new to us. We made another recent investment of $1 billion, so what did we get out of that? We created 4 AI innovation centers in Stuttgart, in Taipei, in Beijing, and in Raleigh, North Carolina, partnering with NVIDIA to bring people in to optimize the technology, get it optimized on Lenovo hardware, and build the solution to simplify it so we can deploy it at scale, not just in dozens of locations, but in thousands of locations out at the far edge. So that was a significant investment. That led to these 50 ISVs, 165 solution partners, and we recently announced, probably 6 months ago or so now, that we've crossed $2 billion in revenue, annual revenue, with now growing from number 6 to number 3 in the world in terms of AI infrastructure. And as you can tell from here, the excitement is bigger than ever, and that's just the beginning.
So, another idea I'd love to dive into is, you mentioned this this idea of taking AI to the data, which feels a little bit not backwards, but a little unorthodox. So can you explain kind of what that means, and are there any interesting use cases Lenovo's seeing about how this is being implemented?
Sure, well, edge means a lot of things to a lot of people. Several years ago, we took 5 different divisions within Lenovo and combined them into one and created a ThinkEdge product line. So from the lowest end kind of embedded PC, if you will, that would have a smart sign or a kiosk or a point of sale terminal, all the way up to a 6 GPU far edge server. We now have a consistent way to manage and orchestrate that, because a lot of people were used to 10,000 servers in one location. Now we have one server in 10,000 locations, and we're trying to manage it, orchestrate it, keep it secure, these kind of things. So some examples of use cases: we're working with every Kroger store in the United States, the largest grocery chain in the United States, 3,000 plus stores, to automate their self-checkout, help against theft, misscans, and they've seen a 75% reduction in their misscans just by putting AI technology directly at the edge to notify consumers before they leave the store that there might have been a misscan. We're working with Grupo Pinza, which is one of the largest fishing fleets in the Pacific. Connectivity might be not there from an internet perspective, so they can actually detect when they put the fish into the net and take it out of the net. Are there endangered species? Do they have to be taken off the boat? Are the fish too small? They can go back. They might be a few days before they go back to port, and they can actually have their supply-demand equations and their pricing already set before they even get back to port. Working with City of Barcelona with thousands of street kiosks, where we can do crash detection in the middle of the night and actually determine the analytics of, do we need to send police, ambulance, fire, this kind of thing. And then at MWC, we announced with Telefonica in the city of Madrid, actually using street cameras and drones to better deliver fire response, checking for fires, smoke in the city, smoke in their forestry. So these are use cases not just in a factory, but down into retail, and all the way to working with the largest fast food chains in the world to automate their drive-thrus, keep their French fries warm, food safety. It really has been a crazy year at the edge.
Yeah, I think you've said that really well. That captures a lot of different industries at just such a wide range. Are there any particular industries among those that you've mentioned that you see as sort of the forefront of AI at the edge? Whether it's an industry doing it extremely well or a specific business?
Well, I think we're definitely focused on smart manufacturing. For example, we have detection in our factories to make sure that all the memory DIMMs are inserted correctly to improve our quality across the factory. We're working with some of the largest distribution companies in the world to check for box damages. Things are flying past their warehouse lines at breakneck speed. In financial services, for fraud detection. In retail, as we mentioned, across pretty much every traffic flows and things in retail. So, I would say there really isn't a part of the world right now that's not being touched by the edge.
Yeah, super exciting, and I think what that means is that we'll all be interacting with this stuff a lot more and just seeing it as baked into our everyday life a lot more. My last question for you is, what's next for Lenovo and NVIDIA? Is there anything that we can tease maybe for the audience or allude to that you're excited about or that might be coming up following GTC?
Well, I think The amount of work being done in generative AI is amazing, and we're starting to see, multi-billion-dollar build-outs in the cloud, but now moving that to be a hybrid cloud world down in the enterprise and the edge as well. AI PC, AI tablet, AI phone, and of course we announced this week as well some autonomous driving initiatives where we're using the NVIDIA platform here as well. So whether you're digital twinning, whether you're generative AI, I think Lenovo and NVIDIA are going to have a rock-solid partnership going forward.
Well, exciting stuff. I think we'll all be looking forward to that. Great talking to you, Kirk. Thank you so much for joining us today. This has been an awesome conversation. And thanks everyone for watching. Be sure to explore more sessions in the GTC catalog.
So thank you, Jensen, for your trust and great partnership. Let's continue to unleash the power of AI to drive innovation and transformation, starting from celebrating this hybrid AI initiative.
Thank you, YY.